when we talk about youth in Bosnia, and usually we take definition of that its population between 15 and 30, that consists of like 23% of the whole population. We are usually having like few highlights in different researches and reports. Number one, like overall highlight in the profile would be that 73% of youth would like to leave the country. And then when you ask why, then you're coming to two, I would say, legitimate reasons, which they put. Number one, it's because of unemployment, and they're right. 57% of youth in Bosnia are not employed, which is one of the highest percentages in Europe. And number two reason is because they see that maybe there are better educational opportunities or quality of education somewhere else. And they're again right. Unfortunately, because in Bosnia or in the Balkans generally, speaking through all different researches like PISA, TIMSS, or Bologna follow-up group, unfortunately, educational system is seen as very old-fashioned, especially in the field of applied knowledge and practical things that students should show in terms of life skills and key competencies. And these are basically two reasons why to leave the country, but in the same time the key issues when we talk about youth. And the last third thing I would say, okay, if you have problems with unemployment and in the same time you are going through not so good quality educational system with also problems in corruption in different parts of negative side in the education, I would say the normal logical question would be, okay, what is your response? What is your feedback? What is your reaction on your position in society? And the third element in this story, which we are also touching a lot during the last decade, is that role of youth is very passive in society. They are marginalized in a way that there are no official, I would say, bodies and channels where they take part in decision making at all levels, at micro level within the school or university or in society, community, or even at the state level. Only 5% of youth in Bosnia are members of youth organizations, which means that 95% are not involved, even to some traditional ways. Youth Information Agency in Bosnia and Herzegovina is starting one project that has named Social Innovation Incubator, and it's a bit strange, a bit different and a bit new, but something that should touch some, I would say, for the last decade important issue, which is the problem of student or generally youth passivity in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the need to have a special tool or environment that can empower students to be more active in society in one way, but in the second also to work more on their employability and leadership skills. So the idea behind that is to offer alternative support, the place, mentorship, and different activities in such center, in such, we call it incubator, and to see through 1 year how we can not only engage students in both mostly Sarajevo region and East Sarajevo, but also to have impact in a way that there can be production of or creation or establishment of new student organizations, either in a business or in NGO sector and civil society. And what is maybe the most important in this particular case is that it's pretty, I would say, new approach based on our 10 year of different experiences and activities with students, but in the same time is something that is very much missing. We're talking about 50,000 students at university in Sarajevo, and only few % of them are involved somehow in different student organizations. But potential is a huge, and especially because you are expecting from academic educated future citizens who are studying to be basically the most proactive in society, and that's not the case in Bosnia. Civil society in Bosnia is in tricky, I would say, position. First of all, the largest establishment or starting point happened in the most negative moment, which was the war. So basically, with a lot of international funds, with a lot of donors, with a lot of primarily humanitarian organizations, there was a very huge need to organize civil society. And when you have so much startup money and a lot of players in the game, and a lot of problems also in society, then it can be good in terms that something is happening, but in the same time, disadvantage is that it's a question how you will have sustainability of civil society, because the starting point is good in terms of funding, but there is no institutional framework that supports NGOs, and basically there is also a question how impact you can have, because it's a new thing, and I think our societies still are not on the level of understanding the value of civic engagement and everything that is like, basically, I would say the civil society are trendsetters, and you know that those who are changing the trends are not always seen as a positive or progressive forces in any society, because they have to deal with prejudice, they have to change attitudes, and there are some kind of fighters in pushing elites or public or media or whatever to work or think differently or work what they should do as politicians, for example. When I started to be engaged, which was around 97, 98, just a few years after the war in Sarajevo and in Bosnia, I was involved in a movement that was called School of Peace, and that was basically the first pioneer project to bring young people from the Balkans after the war together. And I would say that all these reconciliation efforts that happened primarily by civil society, which was the first step, and then other topics came afterwards. When we talk about regional cooperation, I think, wanted or not, it's something that historically, economically, and politically is something that Balkans has, and maybe some ethnic groups or people would say we should turn back to West and look, I don't know, for EU and forget what is down in the region. But as I said, like it or not, it's a reality that we are together here in the same ship, in my opinion, and there are a lot of even good things if you increase that potential for regional cooperation. I think we cannot solve some of the problems if there is no regional cooperation. There is no solving the problem on reconciliation, on what happened, transitional justice, etc. But the most important would be about economy, and economy of ex-Yugoslavia was pretty much connected, regardless of in which country different industries were, and I think there is a lot of space to have such cooperation. And in terms of youth or education or mobility, I think it should be also priority if you would like to have neighborhood which will never again have some problems and instability. Young and new generations have to have first the contact, how looks one Serb with the same age, or one Croat, or one Bosniak, or one Montenegrin, and then if you meet, if you talk, if you experience, then it's much difficult for some political elites to tell you and to promote nationalistic ideologies, because you know that there is one guy or girl that you know and that are normal or behaving like you, having the same aspirations in life, etc. So